Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
All right. Do we go full disclosure on this sucker?
And just talk about like the subject?
The fact that we don't really have that. We have a subject, but we're not.
Before we dig into that, I wanted to talk about, for the two of you that watch us.
Oh, there's only two that watch us?
3, maybe.
What?
My mom, I think, tries to catch it every now and then. So, most people
Why
listen.
are we recording the video then if it's all listeners?
Vanity?
There's thousands of of audio listeners.
Yes, there's a lot of audio listeners, but we just really haven't cornered the viewing market.
You know what? There's nothing to see here.
There's nothing to see here. Thanks for stopping by. No, for those that are watching, you'll notice that we're not as dapper today. We're not as
I am dapper.
Dressed to the nines. I mean, you're always dapper. Oh, is that my water?
How are you supposed to drink your water if it's all the way on the other side of the table?
Right, thanks. Good looking out, buddy.
Hey, thanks, pal.
So at least I have my tumbler today.
You do.
But
so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah. We're not as dapper as we usually are. We're wearing T-shirts because we are working a lot during the day. We are lifting and moving things. We're moving out of the building, as we've mentioned before.
Incredibly difficult thing to do and remain environmentally conscious.
It is. Good point.
What a nightmare.
I know. There's so much stuff that we're like trying to get rid of correctly, to get rid of like e-waste.
Correctly.
And get rid of things, but we're just trying to get out of this building and move.
It's amazing how with the terms and conditions, man, like you got to try to get rid of e-waste. And we're only taking...
We'll only take
the
these...
gold. We're literally only taking the gold.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of do you remember the movie The Jerk?
Yeah.
Where he's working in the carnival booth and he's like, if you win, you could win anything from this point down here all the way. Actually, you can just win a prize in this little small box right here. He's winning. It's like just literally. Anyway, it reminds me of that. It was like they would only take 1% of the thing we brought by to the e-waste.
We're trying to responsibly
dispose of things.
And it has been a true challenge.
It has.
Now we have been able to donate a lot of stuff.
We have,
which has been good. I gotta give a shout out to
the Salvation
Army because they really, you pull up your truck full of goods, and granted we actually have some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So that maybe helped, but they were like, wow, thank you, this is great, and they were just a team of guys.
It was a lot of stuff. It wasn't just a truck full. We had a truck and a trailer, and like 5 guys came out and emptied it out like in record time.
Emptied it out, and we're so thankful they had all this stuff that they could give to other people who could use it, and so we felt good about that. So we're trying to do as much of that as possible to try to reuse is the kind of concept. But the other thing about it is when you're moving, it's like and you're also trying to work at the same time.
Right.
It's just it's tough because there's a time crunch issue because you've got a truck coming and you got people who are going to be on your business.
We're doing a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, and we gotta still do a convention show next week in Las Vegas.
We're going to Las Vegas next week, and so maybe we'll talk about Vegas. Maybe we'll film in Vegas. I don't know.
Yeah, we're trying to decide.
But we're wearing cool T-shirts today. But I love Noel's shirt. Describe it for the people that can't see it.
It has the recycling sign on the top left as you look at it, side of the shirt, and then it has a giant re, and then underneath that, it says gifter. So I'm a re-gifter. Re-gifter?
When I saw this one, it cracked up, and I was like, I'm so glad you're wearing that in the podcast.
It's good because it's an environmental shirt. It's green. It's green and everything.
Yeah. And then I, the T-shirt I wore today so that we could do some heavy lifting and sweating and getting dirty. My T-shirt just says Jason Bourne on it. But I think that really sums up me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who I am or how I got here.
Well,
but I know I want to save the planet.
What are the exactly?
I'm the Jason Bourne of the environment.
I think it's very relevant because we one of the topics when we were trying to decide what on earth we're going to talk about in the middle of everything that's going on.
Right.
Oh yeah, we have a podcast.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it went, and our apologies to you for that.
Yeah.
Was the fact that people don't want to have children because children. Are a carbon negative to the environment.
Yeah,
which I have my own thoughts on, and we can get into that on a whole
other podcast.
But Jason Bourne kills people.
Yeah. So he's trying to save the environment.
He's saving the environment constantly.
He's lowering the carbon footprint.
His job is
one bad guy at a time.
He removes so much carbon from the atmosphere. It's still in the ground. We'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
It's still, the carbon's still when we bury the the bodies or they burn them or whatever it is bad guys do with their henchmen when they. You ever thought about that?
No.
Like
about
henchmen.
about the carnage
Yeah.
in a movie, like once they leave him behind, like
Yeah.
who comes in and is like, all right,
All right, what do we do? And
we got 35 guys here.
And who
They're
calls,
all bad guys.
Who
though.
calls the family, right? Like if this bad guy's there and he's out there doing that stuff, is there a person whose job is like the president of the Evil Association goes, "Hi, Mrs.
I got
Douglas.
bad news.
I'm so sorry. Your husband
Henchman number 4.
he fought so hard for evil and did such a great job. He really stole a lot of things and he murdered puppies and he did so much
But it was a
for us.
bad day for crime
just
because
was a
John
bad
Wick came through. And he took about 100 guys with
Killed
him.
him and about 706 of his mates.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I've had a lot of phone calls to do. So I
wish I could spend more time, but I just can't. I just can't.
Is that a hint?
I was just trying not to go too dark.
No,
I was trying not to go too dark. You can see there's a little bit of fatigue in both of us. We have a little bit of fatigue this week. If you're a fan of the show, we're usually like kind of, like excited and uplifting and all that stuff. But we're a little worn out. We've been working hard. We've been driving places.
Yeah.
And so this is the Biofriendly podcast. I'm your host, Jacob.
and I'm your other host, Noel.
And this week for our subject, we were struggling a little bit because we've been doing a lot of other things. And I was like, we got to find a topic. And then I found this topic.
I'm pretty sure I yelled at my dad today because he came up with a topic that was a great topic.
While
It's
we were
just-
trying to research other topics.
Right. It's just the topic was we're required like
several weeks worth of research.
Weeks of research.
Yeah.
And he kept like, and he was really excited about it. So he kept talking about it. And like, oh, and this, and it was really going on. It was really great. But at the same time, you were being so wonderful and polite, and you were trying to be like, oh yeah, that's interesting. But then looking for another thing, and eventually I came out. I was like, Dad, we can't do that topic right now.
We got to record 30 minutes.
30 minutes. You got to let this guy find a topic.
Yeah.
And and it was probably I was a little bit mean.
It's
so
okay.
I had to go downstairs and apologize. I was a bad son.
But you became a good son. You fixed
Well,
the situation.
I think so. I think we're good.
We're good. Everybody's okay. Yeah. So we couldn't find something, and I found a subject, and I was like, this seems kind of dense. Like, I don't mean dumb. I mean, it's like a lot, and something that I had a hard time wrapping my head around, and I was like, I don't know if I'm that sharp right now. I'm kind of Jason Bourning all over the place, like, I don't know. I can't remember one thing from the next. I don't know who I am. And I told Noel the topic, and that's what kind of spun us. We were like, well, maybe we should find something else. And then we just decided, let's just go for it.
Let's just
start
talking.
No more games.
No more games, Jacob.
Let's just dig in.
Let's just start talking.
The subject on the article said, Opus 12, which is the name of a startup, is on a mission to convert CO2 into useful products.
Okay. Let's do it.
Let's
Let's convert some CO2 into useful products.
Well, when I first saw this, it said the primary subject here is carbon conversion, which is in the time that we've been doing the podcast and the time that I've been in the environmental space, I've actually never heard of the idea of carbon conversion. Had you?
That's my bad.
You never taught me
We
that.
should have talked about that, and we didn't. I'm sorry
Okay.
about that.
Well, at first I was like, oh, we can convert carbon into things like the stuff that's coming out of the tailpipes of our
man.
cars. We can convert it.
Carbon capture and carbon conversion is a major industry. It's like it's one of the kind of popular options actually for reducing our CO2 footprint.
Well, I feel really out of the loop on this one.
Well, it's not something that it's not a hot button topic that's going to come up a lot on your news feed. So it's probably not something you would have seen a lot. But if you're in the industry and you're talking through what are the solutions to reduce greenhouse gases, it's one of the ones that's constantly brought up. So that would be like on the business face.
Oh,
I come up with it
that's
probably
why.
more than you do.
So there's no BuzzFeed top 10 carbon conversion companies that'll make you smile.
No, because the top 10 carbon conversion companies that will make you smile.
I don't know. It just seems like a clickbaity article right
Yeah.
there.
Well, there's the issues are that when you're doing it, like if you're capturing it, now you've just got basically a block of carbon, which is like,
Captured it. You got it in a cage in your car. It's like, I've got this carbon here. I don't know what to do with it.
right. And so now so this carbon you've got to you've got to it could be waste. Maybe it could be turned into something else. Maybe we can bury it and use it to add pressure to oil fields and let's get more of that oil up, baby.
Yeah, maybe.
There's lots of different things you can do with carbon, but it does potentially also bring up now we've got all this carbon. It's kind of like the desalinization problem.
Okay.
Right? Like desalinization is when, for those of you who are listening and new to the show.
I thought you said desalinization.
Desalinization of America is happening every day.
I thought, is that the removal of salads?
Yes, we are not eating enough salad. It's weird. The desalidification of this country
That's what I thought you said.
is
I
enough
was
is
like,
enough.
Look, I could use some more greens, honestly.
No, I think when the seasons change, my nose needs to be unplugged a little more,
Okay.
and I need to do a better
so
job.
you
of
said
salinization,
as in saline.
yes, as in taking salt out of water.
Yeah.
The issue with one of the issues, apart from the fact that it requires a bit of energy to do. Although they've got some cool membranes. I'm getting off topic. No.
Cool. Hold on.
Really?
My favorite string of words in that sentence was, they've got some cool membranes. But wait a second, I'm getting way off target. Cool membranes is the nerdiest thing I've heard you say, and then you stopped yourself from just nerding out. They've got some cool membranes.
They do.
Cool
man.
membranes?
They really do.
I have never heard the word membrane and be like,
we haven't
I wonder
done-
if there's any cool membranes.
Have we done desal? We haven't done that yet, have we?
Oh, definitely not.
Definitely
I'm not
not.
aware of how cool membranes can
Okay.
get.
We will go into. I promise you, audience, we will come back and do a full-on podcast on taking salt out of water and what are the advantages and consequences.
That sounds like some cool membranes. I'm gonna go see the cool membranes in Vegas next week. They're
we
great.
are.
They're a great band.
They are so good.
Sorry, you
so
stopped
good.
yourself. So you want to stop? You want to stop going on?
I
that?
don't want to go too far to that. The point I want to make is that when you take water and you pull salt out of it, the great news is you have fresh water.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Right.
The bad news is you have a whole lot of salt.
Right.
And what do you do with all of that salt?
Margaritas.
Margaritas. And this is why the margarita business is always booming wherever they
booming.
have a desalinization plant.
Look, if I had a desalinization plant, I would put it right next to a margarita restaurant. And I would just be like, we're taking salt out of the water and then
And
we're
putting it directly into your margarita.
Because I like salt in the rim of my margaritas. Do you?
Of course.
Yeah.
But I like the rock salt. The
Oh,
big,
yeah.
big
Oh, yeah.
chunks of.
I would imagine that's what comes out of desalinization.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Definitely not.
No.
Anyway, so you have a lot of
you
salt
get a lot of
left
salt,
over.
and you got to do something with it. And if you're irresponsible with it, you kill fish and do all. There's a lot of bad
Right.
things that can happen with it. So if you are sequestering carbon, then you now have a lot of carbon you got to deal with. Like you've got, great, now we've got carbon, we've got oxygen, we've got, wow, amazing.
But now you have carbon.
CO2 has been turned into carbon. This is great.
Yeah.
But you have carbon and you got to find something to do with it. So the thing that's neat about conversion is now we're turning this carbon into like stuff.
Yep, and that's the perfect tip off to what it says. It says,
Okay.
what if excess carbon in the atmosphere could be converted into more useful forms? That's the ultimate goal of carbon conversion companies such as Opus 12. That's just one of them.
Jacob,
What?
what type of useful stuff are they converting it into?
I don't know. The concept of... No, it says...
This is why, to be fair,
I never read further than that.
he literally had 5 minutes to prepare this thing together.
And I gotta tell you, I Googled carbon conversion and I found a lot of stuff, so please do that. But I would read some of these scientific documents and data, and I was like, look, man, I was an English major, okay? Like, my eyes just glaze over sometimes when it's like, and then the carbon one has cool membranes.
Membranes.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyway, the concept of turning CO2 into solid materials and liquid fuels is sometimes called carbon conversion and sometimes called carbon utilization, depending on whether you want to focus on the process transforming CO2 or the outcome, storing it in some sort of product. Whatever you choose to call it, making stuff out of CO2 could be a $1 trillion industry by 2030.
$1 trillion?
That's a lot.
If they used those dollars to plant trees,
Maybe we should
could take them and put them out of business.
Exactly.
Because then we'd have
$1 a tree.
Yeah, because then you'd have natural carbon
Exactly.
consuming.
So our new mission, if we choose to accept it, is to beat the carbon conversion business with our tree business.
With our tree business.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Johnny Appleseed cannot be stopped.
I'm in.
Okay, I'm in. I'm so in. So anyway, there's a lot of different stuff. It says the process of carbon conversion is a bit like recycling in that it deconstructs a waste material into its component parts and then reconstructs those parts to usable products. However, all of this deconstruction and reconstruction happens at the molecular level. See, this is where I start to go like, I don't know. I'm already starting to like...
Yeah, well then let's skip it.
Okay, well...
Skip it because we don't need it. Honestly, the audience doesn't really need to know.
This
they
isn't...
don't care.
This isn't popular mechanics.
They don't care how it's done, honestly. Maybe some people in here do care how it's done, but that's not what we're about. I think what we want to know is what inquiring minds
What
like
it makes.
mine want to know is when you've got this wonderful carbon
I have one
that
here.
you've converted, what are you doing with it?
Okay. Researchers have found a way to convert the carbon dioxide into plastics, fabrics, and other useful products more efficiently and cheaply than possible before.
Okay.
The new method, described in the journal Energy and Environmental Science, is a form of artificial photosynthesis.
Really?
Uh-huh.
We're doing it plant style?
Yeah, plants are terrific at using energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates for fuel, right? That's how a plant works. Scientists have been trying to mimic this process to make clean fuels, drugs, and other products that use up planet-warming carbon dioxide. So they can make a ton of stuff. They can make furniture, fabrics, plastics, drugs, all sorts of things with this carbon once they break it down and build it back up again.
So basically, they can dress me, seat me, and get me high with their carbon converted.
Just another Thursday.
Converted.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, kids. But anyway, so those are some examples of things. But they're saying this is a team from Rutgers University that came up with a group of 5 different catalysts that are made with abundant and hence low cost. These are things that can help this process, and that's nickel and phosphorus. These catalysts turn carbon dioxide and water into chemical compounds containing 1, 2, 3, or 4 carbon atoms with more than 99% efficiency. The process is highly energy efficient and does not require much electricity.
Yeah, it's efficient because they're using catalysts.
Yes, exactly.
Which bring the molecules that you want to talk to each other together. It's
Exactly.
like a catalyst is like it's like a dating service.
Oh.
It's like you get everybody into a room and they all go around the table to talk to the right people.
Yeah.
The catalyst is the one that's bringing them all together so they can talk so you can get a match.
So it's like that speed dating.
So they can fall in love and they
you're
can go off together and be together. Once you have the 2 molecules you want together, you've done it.
Dude, you broke down catalyst in such a sweet way.
Yeah.
Now everybody gets it. You get it. It's a dating
everybody
pool.
Catalyst. Everybody catalyst.
Everybody catalyst.
Everybody catalyst.
So, needless to say, that I don't want to interrupt this. This is too good.
I'm sorry.
No, please. Is that a Cool Membrane song? Knew it.
Cool membranes.
Cool membranes. So anyway, again, I found like 5 different articles, all that say, scientists find ways to turn carbon emissions into usable energy. Energy is another thing they can convert it into, not just stuff, but also they can convert it into more energy. And they just foresee that this could be one of the things, unlike, just like our planting trees, one of the things and technologies that are going to emerge that could really help, prevent climate change.
I think that it's an interesting idea.
Okay, tell me what you think, man. Break it down.
It's an interesting idea, and I think that
it's an interesting prospect.
That given that given all of the options available, while it's interesting, I feel like we're putting something unnecessary on top of the pile.
Yeah.
Kinda, because
you're probably right.
Because I don't know.
He's way smarter than I am, folks.
I'm not. It just they've read a couple things about this.
I don't read. Go on.
Well, watch Netflix, would you?
I do.
Yeah.
If they had a special called Carbon Conversion starring Ryan Gosling, I would watch it. Okay.
The second half of this podcast, today's podcast, needs to be a review of the Bob Lazar.
Oh man, I loved that. It was so good.
We should go there.
We're gonna get in trouble with people because they're gonna be people listening like, okay, I love the Biofriendly podcast.
But they're insane.
You guys are tangential and worth it. But this episode, you lost your minds.
This episode proves that you guys are
really tired,
insane.
Exactly.
You guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, but I do want to talk about it in a little bit.
Okay, all right, we'll touch on it.
But before we do, all right, you have already on this planet natural, wonderful carbon conversion engines.
Which are?
Trees.
Right.
Which are algae.
Right.
Right? I mean, like we have plants.
Right.
Doug.
Mm-hmm. Who's Doug?
This guy, he's crazy. He does photo. He's a superhero.
Okay.
Who's green. He photosynthesizes.
Wow.
and he has gills. So he can survive without any food in oxygen or water.
Wow, go Doug.
Go Doug.
That would be a great
We
superhero.
call him Doug.
Doug.
He's the superhero. Doug the superhero. No, but there are things in nature that do that we should have more of. And I feel like if we start, there are some technologies that, while great and while they could be helpful, and I understand that, they don't, it's like we're adding another thing on top of what we're doing to try to solve the problem. I feel like that same energy put towards let's get nature bumping.
Yeah.
Let's get the natural system that works to do it. Let's get people to change their habits a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple things that are more long lasting and probably better overall for the environment, as opposed to creating another technology that, let's face it, is going to create some waste.
That's true. And I couldn't even wrap my head around how this would necessarily work, because I thought to myself, I was like, okay, if they're converting carbon, are they hooking an apparatus up to like the back of a car, that then's a tube, and then it sits up on the back of your car, and it's like a bucket, and it's collecting it, and then you're gonna take it to a receptacle, and you're gonna be like, I have this thing, and then they put it into a machine. I mean, I don't even know how you begin to collect carbon from the atmosphere. Do you do it on an individual level, or do we have like a Skynet? We all know where Skynet leads. Terminators.
Basically, what we're trying to tell you, audience of Biofriendly podcast, is if we allow this technology to go any further, we're all going to die. Because there's going to be a Skynet
And
Terminators and mimetic polyalloy.
That's why. Liquid metal.
Liquid metal.
That's what we were worried about.
That was the other thing we were going to talk about.
I read an article
Now I
about
remember.
liquid metal.
Talk about liquid. Do you remember the liquid metal? Do you remember anything about it?
No.
Okay, well, apparently it was something like you could use liquid metal to remove terrible greenhouse gases from the environment.
Yes.
And then we thought it'd be great so we could talk like Arnold and say it's
We
weird.
could do the whole episode like this.
My favorite word he said is mimetic polyalloid because it's too many syllables to say.
Way too many
Why
syllables
would you give
for Ernie.
Arnold?
Why would you? He got the script that day, and he was
Yeah.
like, "You want me to say what? Is there any way we can lessen the phrase here?
Is there a way we can change the phrase a little bit so it's not so crazy difficult?
I'll do it. No.
So many syllables.
Anyway, so liquid metal wasn't. You could tell. If you've been listening to the show for a long time, you could tell we have been working very hard. You know what I mean? You can just tell.
Like these guys have been doing other things.
This is episode 36. I hope this one goes down in the books.
We will get back. I swear to you, we will get back to our good old fashioned, not tired,
Selves.
on the ball, rocking it selves.
Yeah.
Within a few weeks.
Yeah, a few weeks. We got a little ways to go.
We got some stuff to do.
We got to move out, move in, and even that we could be like, in an in-between place until we officially move in.
And then Christmas will come, and
then
let's
Christmas
be
will-
honest, we're gonna dial Christmas in.
Look, let's be honest. You're going to get a great episode from us in 2020. No,
Yeah.
just
Don't
kidding.
expect quality or
So-
quantity.
So to the Skynet, which could make Terminators. Yeah. I didn't know how we collect carbon, and I don't know how we do that. So that's a question for scientists. Do you know how we collect carbon and make it converted?
I mean, everything I've seen is a device that you strap
To the back of a car.
to the back to like capture the exhaust and grab it, right?
So-
So, but I mean, look to be fair and to put something on their side of it. I mean, a catalytic converter is a bolt-on device that you're required to have on every vehicle,
Yeah.
right? And that works again through catalysis, ladies and gentlemen.
The dating pool
Ladies
of
and
car
gentlemen,
devices.
It's we're getting. You're just recombining molecules to make different things. That's what the idea is of it. Yeah,
very true.
Of a catalytic converter. But so you could have something that was simple, that was put together, that had some kind of filter or box that is, let's say, mandated by the California government, because why not?
Because we'd probably do it first.
Oh, of course we will. We're in
Yeah.
on this.
On this stuff.
And then every time you go service your vehicle, they pull out the little box and they empty the juju. And
it's like the Ghostbusters trap thing. It's like, that would be cool. It's like a ghost trap.
and if it also could just suck in ectoplasm at the same time, then we'd be safer. Be safer and be better for the
No more ghosts, no more pollution.
Yeah.
Well, kind of an offshoot of this topic, which I saw while I was doing the research about carbon conversion, is NASA seeks CO2 conversion solutions for future Mars outpost.
What?
So there's that.
What?
So this entire technology that we're talking about that we're having here on Earth, see, the thing is we're emitting carbon. The planet emits carbon, but we're like emitting way more than in the past. But a planet like Mars, the entire atmosphere is just nothing but carbon dioxide. So it's like the whole atmosphere is carbon dioxide. So they are trying to find ways that if they could capture and harness it, they could convert it into all the things I talked about before. They could give it, they could make it the ability of people who are on the planet to use it for food, nutrients, medicine, polymers, and fuel.
Yeah, I mean, it is the building block of us, basically.
So that's one of the sideline benefits to researching this on Earth is not only to try to prevent it, like we can use a carbon and turn it into something else, but if they do master it down here and figure out how to do it really efficiently, then they could take that technology and then we could get to Mars. We could
get them. Get in the way back to Arnold again.
Go back to Arnold.
Get yourself to Mars.
So that's a cool kind of sideline thing.
Recalling. Do you remember the Dead Alewives? Do you remember that? Total recalling. My favorite about that is that Arnold couldn't quite hit the note.
You mean somebody did a parody of Tom Petty's Free Fallin', but changed it to Total Recallin'?
Yes, it was Dan Harmon's group of dudes. They were called the Dead Alewives.
I did not.
Come from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee. Which means the good land.
Yes. And they made, well, they're most famous for, at the end of it, they had like a D&D thing, like a D&D, a bunch of people on a table playing D&D back and forth. And then somebody put a video on that where it was monsters playing D&D with these voices that the Dead Alewives had. And that kind of blew them up. And that helped get Dan Harmon sort of...
Summoner Geeks? Is that the I'm thinking of the YouTube video of somebody took a bunch of D&D players, and is that connected to Summoner Geeks?
That wasn't D&D players. That was a sketch that they took and made it seem like it was a bunch of D&D, but that was a sketch. That was a joke. The reason it's so funny is because it was a professionally done sketch.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Summoner Geeks. That was probably one of the first YouTube videos I ever saw.
That predates YouTube. They took like someone's
sketch,
like content from an audio sketch on a CD by the Dead Alewives. Put video to it and then got famous off of that. But it's okay. It worked out.
Everybody wins.
The guys in Dead Alewives made it out okay.
Good.
They're fine. They all work in Hollywood and they do fine.
Yeah.
And Dan Harmon has made a bunch of shows and done the best of all.
Well, everything's worked out.
Was that a tangent?
No. Total recalling, baby. Before we wrap it up, because we're going to talk a little bit, you did say you want to talk. We're on the subject of Mars. And so we did want to talk a little bit about Bob Lazar. I don't care. We're going to do it, okay?
Can we please?
We got to talk about it a little bit. But the last thing I'm going to say is from NASA.
Also, while we're talking about Mars.
Okay.
While we're talking about Mars.
Get to Mars.
What we need to do is find a way to thicken up the atmosphere.
What?
We need to thicken up the atmosphere.
We have to thicken up the atmosphere.
Because there's not enough atmosphere is the problem.
Okay.
We've got to get more atmosphere in Mars, and then we'll be fine.
That's the plan.
That's all I want to do. That's all I want to say.
We got to think it up.
Just think it up the atmosphere.
Right now, there's a scientist who's like, I know. We don't know how to do that.
They should read Red Mars,
Green
Mars, Blue Mars. Red Mars, Blue Mars, Green Mars.
Good books?
Yes, Kim Stanley Robinson.
That's good.
Yeah, they are. They take comets, which are mostly ice, and then they zip them around Mars so that they start to, all the water comes off of them and it gets into the atmosphere and it thickens. Basically like they drop comets onto the planet.
I love it.
Isn't it brilliant?
I love it.
so much.
It's so good. So last thing.
This is a discreet. Now, okay. It's as if we did this show in the middle of the night.
I know.
After.
Yeah, it is. But you know what?
I feel bad now about the carbon sequestering guys and the carbon conversion guys are listening to the show going like, this a-hole is acting like he knows what he's talking
so hard
about,
in this business.
and he's totally wrong, and I have 700 reasons why he's totally wrong.
You know what?
And I think that I want to put that out there that I am a little tired and we're a little out of it. And there's there are definite positive options to this. I just feel like we should plant more trees.
Here's what I'd like to do. If you have an issue with what Noel said about carbon conversion, call him. His number, his email is, call him directly and let him know what you think.
Call him directly.
So NASA has solar-powered carbon dioxide conversion, a low-cost nanomaterial thin film device. So there's some...
A film?
Uh-huh.
That's almost a membrane.
It's almost a membrane. I knew you were going to say that. NASA has developed a new technology that can convert the greenhouse gas carbon dioxide into fuel by using solar-powered thin film devices.
Thin film devices open up for good membranes.
For good membranes. Metal oxide thin films are fabricated to produce a photoelectrochemical cell that is powered by solar energy. So this is a cool thing that's happening also. NASA's developing that. There's just a lot out there, and I think that we're just beginning to see the beginning of this.
Can we go ahead and just say that NASA's rad?
NASA is super rad.
Yeah, that is an administration in our government that I love so much, and that I wish they would stop cutting back their funds.
I agree,
man, because the military is now in space, and they're kind of taking. It's like they take everybody's money.
Yeah,
they take everybody's money.
Right. Which
is, okay, great. So we're gonna weaponize space and go blow up some stuff.
Star Wars.
That's really wonderful. But I mean, I do love the concept of just the exploring and the. The trying to create technologies that can help us to colonize other planets and do other things, which
is happening.
Because we also have lots of billionaires who are starting companies to do that same thing, which is good. That helps because I love space.
And I want to keep exploring space. And the reason why is because we watched this documentary on Netflix about Bob Lazar. And if you haven't seen this yet...
He's telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. I don't know. Oh, my God. By the way, do you realize just by saying this on our show, we could totally get in trouble?
Oh, I wonder if we get
we get flagged.
If we get flagged, this is why.
Oh, it would be amazing. Bob Lazar. So if you're not aware, there's a longer title to it. It's like the Untold Mysteries or something.
Here is 7 hours of Mickey Rourke saying annoying stuff that interrupts the Bob Lazar documentary.
That is the worst part. If you're gonna watch this thing, I have to encourage you. Okay, so the filmmaker, who really likes putting himself on camera too with his tattoo sleeves, and his walking through the desert shots, and also
he's a little indulgent.
He is indulgent, and he hired Mickey Rourke to do these poetry readings. It's like dark Shel Silverstein about just like about whatever, and so you have to kind of get through those.
Every time you hear it, you're going to be like, God, shut up and get back to Bob Lazar, please.
I started hitting the fast forward button every time we'd cut to like a shot of the Sahara, and Mickey Rourke would start talking. I would just be like, okay, enough.
No.
Fast forward. Because the key is Bob Lazar, if you don't know who he is, he's a guy who, worked for Area 51.
Claims,
allegedly.
He claims that he went to MIT and Caltech.
And worked for Area 51 when in the 1980s and interacted with multiple flying saucers and alien technology and worked on all of them. And he went public secretly, hiding his identity.
In the 70s?
No, it was late 80s.
Okay.
And they hid his identity. And then literally this documentary is about how his life,
fell apart
and was kind of ruined because of this. But I highly recommend it.
He's got this business that gets raided all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Like the guys in this factory, they all just have like a thing they do. Like they've got they know where to go and how to wait for the raid. They sit there and the raid happens and then they go back to their business.
I know. I want to challenge you. If you want to go watch this, and I know this is off topic. If you want to go watch this,
this is not off topic. This is the only topic.
This is the only topic.
There are flying saucers.
There
out
are aliens, and they're real. If you watch this documentary and you get through it and you don't believe Bob Lazar, I want you to contact me because I
call in
now. I believe him. And it's impossible, I think, to get to the end of this thing and not be like, I believe this dude.
This dude's telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. He definitely did all of these things.
He definitely went to MIT and Caltech.
And he's definitely wicked smart. And he definitely put his life on the line to say, hey, there are aliens.
Yeah, and they're not letting the general scientific community
won't let you know about
look at it and check it and try to study it and try to understand what's going on. They're locking it down. They're trying to keep it secret.
Yeah. So, you know who knows how to handle carbon emissions? The aliens.
Aliens probably could fix this thing tomorrow.
If we would just talk about it in public, they could probably help us out with this whole global warming. That's something that we haven't even addressed.
We haven't even addressed the alien option.
If we go aliens, then we could probably fix this problem tomorrow.
If you're an alien, please call in.
Please call in now. What if all of a sudden the roof we just had to ask.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's Doug. He's like, I'm not a superhero. I am actually an alien.
Hey guys, it's Doug. I'm here to help. So, okay, this was the episode, and that's all there is to it. We're just gonna say we are humans, and sometimes we bring it, and other times we
don't. Sometimes we give you terrific,
sometimes
on top of it, great content.
Educational, and other times...
And sometimes it gets to Thursday.
And you just go...
And we're like, oh my God, I'm too tired to do a podcast.
I'm so worn out from all this stuff. And so, anyway, I think that we are still, at the end of the day, your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Sound years ahead of the competition. Oh,
Damn.
wow. Really? I was going to do it right.
Were you really? I actually went blank.
You did?
Yeah, I did. Sound years ahead of the competition, and then it's saving the world eventually.
Tantamount.
So glorious, so handsome.
Tangential, but worth it. See. No, I did remember before, and then when you stopped talking, I was gonna do it right. I was totally gonna try this time.
It went pear-shaped because of me. I'm not gonna pretend like I have it together right now.
Tangential,
because I don't.
but worth it.
We love you guys.
How did I forget that again? I just was in my head. I was like, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say tantamount. Then I'm gonna say tangential and worth it. We're gonna do it because we did everything else wrong, but this we're gonna get right. That's what I thought, and I didn't.
Impossible.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a wonderful green week. And remember, convert your carbon.
Or don't.
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.